I'm Neil Genslinger, city critic of the New York Times. I recently visited Coney Island, and specifically this place there called the Scream Zone, which is new this year and has 4 pretty high-intensity rides at it. All of them are perfectly respectable thrill rides. The coolest and most expensive of the new attractions is called the Slingshot. It rockets you 150 feet straight up in the air at 90 miles an hour. It's kind of pricey. An individual ticket is $20, but that was $20 well spent from my point of view because it's a completely different experience than any roller coaster you've ever been on, and it gives you a fantastic view of Coney Island when you're up at the top of the arc. None of these new attractions are cheap. My daughter and I spent a total of $60 and rode 3 rides each. But they're not that much more expensive than the older rides like the Cyclone. And if, like me, you can only tolerate 1 or 2 of these big rides in a single afternoon, then Coney Island ends up being a little cheaper than a place like Six Flags. These new rides are kind of high-tech, but Coney Island as a whole still feels very much like a throwback. There was a lot of talk when the rides were announced that they were going to displace some older attractions and that Coney Island was going to lose its historical feel. I did not find that to be the case. The Wonder Wheel is still there, the Cyclone is still there, plenty of other old school attractions are still there, and the place still has a very laid-back and gritty and urban feel. Down the block from the Scream Zone, there is an interesting little history museum that you can get into for $1. And the displays there really drive home the fact that Coney Island has actually changed quite a bit over the years. A century ago, there were these huge spectacles there with casts numbering in the hundreds and animals and dwarves and everything else. You don't see that today, and I think these new rides are just another step in that evolution, and yet the overall feel is still absolutely uniquely Coney Island, Brooklyn.